Good afternoon. You are watching KTN News Desk. This hour we focus on the prices of unga. The latest developments after the government announced that they will be subsidizing the price of unga to 90 shillings for a 2 kg packet. But some private millers are not happy with that decision. We will tell you why. We'll also be focusing on NASA's rally in Kisii County. Our reporter Rashid Ronald will be giving us more details on the same, as well as other stories that have been making headlines in the country and beyond. My name is Kisii. Let's first take a look at the highlights. NASA principals currently attending a rally at Kisii Stadium in Kisii County. A section of private maize millers unhappy over allocation of maize consignment. And Fred Outa wins the Kisumu Central ODM primaries during a repeat poll held yesterday. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on KTN News Desk. NASA leaders are this afternoon holding a rally in Kisii. We will be giving you more details on that. And our reporter Rashid Ronald will as well be joining us for more on that. But still in Nyanza, Fred Outa will now represent ODM in the Kisumu Central parliamentary race in August after emerging the winner in the party repeat nominations held yesterday. Outa was declared the winner with 6,694 votes against his closest rival, former TNA Secretary General Onyango Olo. The High Court last week ordered a repeat of the nominations in their constituency after allegations of massive irregularities emerged.
And who is the winner today? Fred Odhiambo.
Shouts of joy and jubilation rent the air as supporters of Game Member of County Assembly Fred Outa celebrated his victory in the ODM repeat nominations for the Kisumu Central Member of Parliament position. Outa garnered 6,694 votes to win the party ticket against his closest competitor, former TNA Secretary General Onyango Olo, who got 4,991 votes. The incumbent Ken Obura came in third with 2,000 votes. The initial Kisumu ODM primaries were marred with controversy after the three were declared winners at different times. Outa had claimed to be the bona fide winner, while the Political Parties Disputes Resolution Tribunal had last Wednesday declared the incumbent Ken Obura the legitimate winner. This was, however, challenged in court by former TNA Secretary General Onyango Olo, who cited massive and glaring irregularities in the whole process.
There is a rule that if you are a presiding officer, not only do you take these particular election materials, take custody of them, make sure that they are safe, make sure that people have voted freely and fairly, count those particular votes, tally them, send the results to us, but also accompany the materials, the remaining materials and the results to us so that we can be able to accept them.
The court therefore directed ODM to conduct repeat nominations for the position of Member of Parliament within 72 hours. The repeat primaries were, however, marked with a low voter turnout since learning has resumed at most of the centers which had previously been used as polling stations. Janet Chapia, KTN News.
Kenyans will from today have relief on the cost of flour following the government's move to subside the price of the staple to 90 shillings for a 2-kilogram packet. Now, the new prices announced by Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Willie Bett on Tuesday are expected to be effective starting today. Under the subsidy program, the state will buy imported maize and sell it to millers at 2,300 shillings for a 90-kilogram bag. This temporary intervention would continue until local production stabilizes and stocks normalize around the country.
Okay, we are joining one of the representatives of the small-scale millers in the country in the ongoing crisis concerning maize meal importation and the prices of unga in the country. Thank you for joining us. Kindly tell us your name and the group you represent.
My name is Peter Kuguru. I'm a prominent businessman and industrialist in this country. And apart from one of the industries we operate is a mill, a maize milling plant. I'm also the chairman of a United Grain Millers Association, made out of a big group of African millers. Although we've got some affiliations in a group, but we are basically representing most of the African millers in this country. I want to state that the government is doing all it can to bring the price of maize meal down. But I don't think they will succeed in their mandate, because the way they are going around it is wrong. To start with, in this country, Kenya consumes 3 million bags of maize per month. The small millers like us, all of them in Kenya, consume for milling 1.8 million bags per month. That is 60% of total maize meal consumption in Kenya. The Asian millers, who are made of 8 big families, and they have got 26 mills out of them, they mill about 1.2 million bags of grain. But you can see that the minister and the Minister of Agriculture is only giving audience to the Asians and ignoring the African millers. Yesterday, the government gave the African millers 100,000 bags of maize, which is only enough for 2 days milling. And then they give to the Asian millers the balance, which they are allocating yesterday 900,000 bags. So you can see we are getting only 10%, and yet we represent 60% of the grain milling capacity. So if the minister wants to bring the price down, he must obey the laws of the law of economy. And those laws are laws of supply and demand. The only way to achieve the price he's looking for is to supply enough maize, and that is 3.3 million bags per month. If he does that, he does not have to worry about putting a price on a bag and all these. All these, I would say, they are a waste of time.
Okay. As it is now, we went through supermarkets in the CBD in the morning, and we found that the maize meal or the maize flour is already in the market at 90 shillings per 2 kilos. Now, how did this happen when it was just announced yesterday? How does this work?
Well, the millers are being forced to brand their maize meal at 90 shillings for 2 kilos. They are being compelled. When you compel them, they'll sell like that in the supermarkets. But if they try to sell in an open market, because of the laws of supply and demand, there'll be a shortage, there'll be scarcity, and therefore people will start increasing the price themselves because of lack of the commodity. So the way is not to hold the people on the throat with a gun and tell them you must bring the price down to 90 bob in a supermarket. How do Kibera people go to the supermarket? How do Mathare people go to the supermarket? So it's a face dress, it's an economic. This is a political gimmick. It's a load show. The minister is playing politics with the grain and trying to put to compel the bigger mills to put 90 bob so they can sell to the supermarket and show that in Kenya, politically, that they brought down the price. They are doing nothing. I think the minister has gone far enough to benefit and to favor those Asians, and he has completely refused to meet with the Africans. Okay. He does not want to meet the small millers. We have booked appointment last week. Yesterday we have written to him, and he has completely refused to see us. That means he has no goodwill. He has no intention to give us maize. He wants to give those Asians. I don't know if money is changing hands or if he's being twisted or what's going on, but we need the minister to talk to us, the small millers.
Our reporter Mark Namaswa there speaking to one of the small maize millers in the country who were seeking audience with the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture. They were expected to have a meeting with him at the Ministry of Agriculture over the recent issues on the price of unga and the subsidizing of prices of unga as well. Our senior reporter Rita Tinina also delved deeper into the issues surrounding the very important grain to Kenyans. Let's take a look at that.
For one of the country's most common staple foods, ugali, the high price of maize flour has meant that very basic meal was beyond the budget for many. Now the government has stepped in to try and relieve the situation.
The government of Kenya engaged all stakeholders, including importers, millers, and other private sector players, to manage this situation. As a result of these consultations, on the 13th April 2017, the government zero-rated maize flour and bread.
A 2-kilogram packet of maize flour will now sell at 90 shillings, down from 150 shillings, while a 1-kilogram packet that used to retail at 75 shillings will go for 47 shillings effective Wednesday. Brands such as Jamii, Jogo, Soko, Kifaru, Ndovu, Pembe, Dollar and Unga will sell at the new prices, which follow a subsidy deal between the government and 20 millers.
To address the acute shortage of the high prices of other essential food items, the government has subsequently waived the duty on importation of sugar and milk border. These interventions will cumulatively reduce the prices of these basic food commodities.
The government says it has set aside 6 billion shillings in its maize subsidy program that will see millers buy maize at 2,300 shillings per 90-kilogram bag.
This temporary intervention will continue until our production stabilizes and stock normalizes.
The subsidized prices follow the controversial importation of maize from Mexico. The maize, the government says, is enough to last till the end of the month.
A similar intervention has also been taken on milk and sugar by way of removing the duty.
With shops and supermarkets already selling maize flour from previous stocks, effecting the new prices overnight may not be as easy as announcing the new costs, and monitoring the implementation of the new price directive may be needed as consumers continue to feel the burden of the high cost of other basic commodities. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
Let's now get into politics. NASA leaders are this afternoon holding a rally at the Kisii Stadium in a bid to cement what is perceived to be their stronghold. All the 5 principals are expected at the venue. The rally is a follow-up of the one that was held in Nakuru earlier this week. And our reporter Rashid Ronald is at the venue now joining us live. Rashid, what time do we expect the NASA leaders to arrive?
Yeah, thank you very much, Akisa. As we speak right now, the NASA principals, they call themselves a Pentagon. That is their presidential candidate Raila Odinga, running mate Kalonzo Musyoka, and also we have Musalia Mudavadi. We have, let's say, they arrived a few minutes ago, like 30 minutes ago here at the Kisii Stadium, and this after having a meeting at the Kisii Sports Club where they met leaders from this region. Remember, it's a question of trying to, it's a balancing act here. Remember, there are very many parties that form NASA, which have got its membership here in Kisii land. And of course, they have to agree who is who and where is where before they move ahead. And of course, Akisa, remember, Kisii land is a swing vote. So remember, about 1.5 months ago, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto were here trying to hunt for votes in this land of Kisii. And now we are seeing the NASA team coming here. Last time, in the last general election, Raila Odinga managed to beat Uhuru Kenyatta when it comes to votes from this region. And of course, Jubilee is trying to ensure that at least it gets a share of votes from the land of Omogusi, which is a swing vote in as far as the Kenyan political scene is concerned. And of course, we've seen a lot of political realignment here in Kisii land. In the last 1 year, we saw people like Deputy Governor Joash Maanga moving to Jubilee. Jubilee, though yesterday he came back to ODM and he's going to be the running mate of James Ongwae in the gubernatorial race. And we also saw ODM losing some members like Chris Obure, who went to the Jubilee side and is running for the gubernatorial seat come August. And of course, Akisa, Stanley Ongwae is one of our writers here in Kisii land. And of course, Stanley, what do you make of this trip today?
Yeah, we have the ODM guys from Kisii, the ODM members of parliament, the aspirants are promised to give this region a vote to Raila Odinga up to 90%, more than 30% of what Raila Odinga, the presidential candidate for NASA, got last time. So it's a promise from these aspirants, and we are waiting for this, that they promise more than 90% of the votes from this region.
We saw a political shift. We saw some politicians moving from ODM to the other side, and we also saw Maangi coming back to ODM. What does it have any impact, political impact around?
Yeah, there is a political impact on this, because initially we had the governor from Kisii wanting to have a deputy governor from one side of the Kisii region, that's Machoge. And it's a plus for the governor aspirant from the ODM section that they will have a deputy governor from Machoge, which is a larger clan in this region. So it's a plus for the ODM guys from this region.
Okay, Akisa, you've heard the NASA are here. They are yet to start addressing the crowd here at the Kisii Stadium. And of course, last week they were in Nakuru. This is a second major meeting that they are having in the country. Back to you, Akisa.
Thank you, Rashid, for that update. Let's now take a short break. Don't go too far. We'll still have a lot lined up for you here on the KTN News Desk.